Hey guys, today we're gonna look at alternatives to Fraps because there's a lot of other capturing softwares out there that you can use instead of Fraps if you really want to. Like Fraps is still one of the best capturing or the best capturing software that's out there, but there are other alternatives and I've been testing them out. I've been testing three alternatives out. Now I tried out Bandicam and DXTory, and then I tried a last one that was called PlayClaw, but that one was really terrible. So I'm not even gonna show what that one could do because it was really bad. The quality was not up to par at all. Not compared to Bandicam and DXTory. Now the first one I'm gonna show you guys is Bandicam. I have it right here, right? And you have all these the same things as other capturing software. You can choose where you want to record to. You can choose where you want your FPS overlay shown. You can set a FPS limit, all this stuff, right? You have a videos tab where you can do all kinds of stuff. Set a recording hotkey and even a pause hotkey. You can pause in this program. So you can like, if you would just, something happens and you have to run to get something off the kitchen or something like that, you can pause and then come back and then start off again, which is a nice feature, I guess. But here's where Bandicam really shines, and DXTory as well for that matter, because DXTory can do something similar to this, but a little bit better as well. But let's have a look at it. When you go into settings here, you get this stuff for your sound, right? You can record like you do with Fraps, your Windows 7 sounds, right? But down here, then you select your microphone. You can choose the settings for it. I'm not gonna mess about with that. That's just standard stuff. But you can't do that with Fraps, for example. You can't choose what settings you want your mic to be recording at. Mine's actually just, I just clicked on it. It opened on the other screen. I'm just gonna cancel that. It just opened up the properties for your microphone. So yeah. It's not really that groundbreaking. You could just set it up when you're recording in Fraps as well, right? But here's where things gets a little interesting. It says here, if you check this one, 2 sound mixing, primary plus secondary into 1 audio track. Now this is what Fraps does as default. You can't change that in Fraps. By unchecking this one, you'll actually get a separate audio track for your mic. I'll show you in a few seconds how that works, because I'll show you toward the end of the video how that works, because DXTory can do something similar to that. We're just gonna cancel this. Now under the format over here, I'm gonna have another video coming up with a guide on how to set up Bandicam and stuff like that. But in the settings here, this is really important. You can actually choose a custom resolution that you want to record at. So you can actually choose to record in 720p, even though you're playing your game in 1080. On top of that, if you have a monitor that's running in a 16:10 resolution, for example, 1680 times 1050, it will still record in 720p, and it will look like it's in 720p. So even if it's like a native resolution that you're playing the game in, you can still choose to just record in 720p. Now that is fucking amazing. That is really good. That is really good. So you can choose this. Obviously I record in full size because I like recording in 1080p and make 1080p videos. But the fact that you have the choice is really awesome. You can do the same in DXTory. I'll show you in a few seconds. I've been doing a lot of testing with this, with the different codecs there is. I'm just gonna get that one out. So I've been testing all this out. I've been testing both programs very thoroughly, okay? I've been doing a lot of testing with them, and sorry about that. I've been doing a lot of tutorials today, so my voice is getting a little rough. But this is all cool, right? And you can set up as well. Here's the audio settings for your mic and your gameplay sound and all that stuff. And you can actually set it to just use a standard PCM codecs, which is just a waveform. Which is really good, So your mic will sound crystal clear when you're recording in this. Just push cancel to this. Then there's the images tab like there is in any other software, right? Now this software records really well. Now even if I've set mine to record in 30 FPS, I can still play my games in 60. Now you can do the same with DXTory. At the end of the video here, I'll go over the pluses and the minuses to both programs, okay? But this program is really good. Like when it comes to these kind of things, you can play your games in 60 FPS and record in 30. Awesome stuff. Really, really good stuff. Because when you're playing, for example, let's say you play World of Warcraft and you're really into competitive PvP, the fact that if you had to bump down like you do with Fraps, if you're recording in 30 FPS, your game gets down to 30 FPS as well. And when you're doing competitive PvP, that can sometimes make you not be able to play to your full potential. The same comes to FPS games. Sorry about this. My voice is really weird today. Sorry about that. Yet again, I'm not going to apologize for it anymore because that's just the way it is. But, so you have all these cool features, right? You can also choose to go into targets here and that you want to capture your screen. So if it's not an actual game, you want to record your desktop and stuff like that, you can use this program to do so as well. Just like you can with Fraps, right? I'm gonna minimize this and get up, actually I'm gonna get up the DXTory. But I mean, key points here, right? Key points, settings, you get a separate audio track. I'll show you it at the end of the video because DXTory does the same, right? You get a separate audio track. Big win. You can choose to record in any other resolution. You can still play your games in 1080p, but record in any resolution that you would choose, which is really, really amazing. So that's really the key points to this program right here. Now let's get up DXTory and minimize this one. Now DXTory comes with some really awesome features as well. You have the standard stuff, FPS overlay, right? I mean, I'm sorry about this FPS overlay up here. That's because my Bandicam thinks that I want to record this at some point, which I'm not. So bear with me with this, if you can see that is. But you can choose all these kind of things. It'll actually show you the actual FPS that you're playing at and the FPS that you're recording at, which is really, really cool. Folders. Now here I've set to record to an extra internal hard drive, and I've done the same thing with Bandicam. You should always do that. But here's a really cool feature. You can benchmark your hard drive, and that is actually very important when it comes to DXTory. This is very important. So let's just do a benchmark on this hard drive. And just click OK to the... Okay, so that? No. Run. Now it had to boot up my hard drive. I can hear it. So maybe it's going to be really slow here to begin with. Yeah, I need to run another test on it. See, that's not the actual test. Let's do that again. See the megabytes per second here? Okay. Very, very important. If you really want to record in 1080p, this number has to be above 100. It has to be above 100, otherwise it will not work in 1080p in DXTory. That's one of the minuses to this program. I'll click OK to that. It'll remember that the benchmark was that. We'll run it one more time just to make sure. See, now it's actually bumping it down a little bit. So do the test a few times just to make sure. See, now it ends up at 185. Just click OK to that. So that you can benchmark your hard drives. That's really, really good. That's an awesome thing that I have in here because, and I think the reason it's in here is because it's so important when it comes to DXTory. It uses a lot more resources, and your drive just has to have a speed above 100 megabytes per second when it writes to it, right? Let's go in here. That's just the normal hotkey stuff, right? In here again, you can choose to record in different FPSs. Oh, this direct show output, you can, instead of file output, you can uncheck that one. Actually, like that, and then like that. Then you can use it for live streaming. That's a really awesome feature for this as well. Really, really awesome feature. Actually, hang on a second. I'll actually shut down my my Bandicam here if I can find it. Where did my Bandicam go? There it is. I'll shut it down since we're done with it, so it doesn't show the FPS overlay anymore, right? Oh, it just keeps it there. That's cute. Oh well, doesn't matter. But so you have all this stuff, right? You can use it for live streams, which is amazing. You can also, with the raw cap here, you can choose to record to 2 separate hard drives. Okay, so I'll have split files between 2 hard drives, and then you can go down here and choose something. You have the raw cap converter. You can open that up, and then you can assemble it into one file, and that can take a strain off your hard drives. So if you can't get your benchmarks above 100, maybe having 2 hard drives to record to on your PC will sort that issue. Now, in here as well, you can also choose to, let's just put this back again to that and that, and AVI, right? Include mouse cursor, all this stuff. Synchronize video FPS. I don't really know what that does, to be honest. It's been some time since I tested this, guys. Now, here you can actually change the scaling as well. Scaling, and then you can write a custom width and height. So let's say that you want it to be 1280 times 720. So that's 720p. So you can do the same thing here that you can do with Bandicam and play your games in 1080p and record it to another resolution. So you can choose to record it in 720p, which is awesome. So the pluses to this program right now is that you can use it for live streaming by choosing raw cap here. Sorry, not raw cap. The direct show output thing. Really important, and that you can choose to record to multiple hard drives at once, which is really cool. All this stuff over here, clipping, that's like if you want to crop out some of the picture. I don't know why you would use that if you're recording gameplay footage, but it is cool. In here, in the audio, really awesome stuff, right? Really awesome stuff. You see I have it says 1 here, and then it says my speakers, my Realtek. So that's the gameplay sound that it would record. That's set as 1, right? And then PCM, and then it's selected. I don't know what it's selected, to be honest. I think it's selected, yeah, 48,000 hertz at 16-bit stereo. Now what you can do is you can actually click over here and click plus. Click on number 2, and then choose something else here. So I can choose my microphone. Same stuff again, right? Now, what's really awesome about this, you can choose how, you know, what the volume should be for your microphone inside here. The same thing with your gameplay sound. No, you cannot. Oh well. But and you can set up a push to talk hotkey as well if you want to. But when you do this, this also adds a separate audio file. Now, since you can add multiple ones of these, you can also set one up if you're using a program called virtual audio cable or something like that. I believe that's what it's called. You can actually set it up so you can have Skype into its own audio layer. So if you're talking to people on Skype while you're doing your gameplay and you don't want them in the actual video, you can just delete that audio file afterwards, which is amazing. I'll show you yet again. I'll show you how all this works at the end. This is really cool stuff. I'll just push minus to get that away. Now I have these two, so it will do. Right now this program is set to do the exact same thing that Bandicam does. Then you have the screenshot section. I never use screenshots anyways, so yeah. In here, really awesome stuff. You can actually set it to use the multiple processors. So I have 8 processors on my CPU, right? So I can select how many I want to use. Other than that, I really don't use any of these other settings with this program. But you know, you can always mess around with these kind of things. Then there's, what is this, global settings? That's just update stuff and information. This is just, I'm using the trial license right now because I actually chose to buy Bandicam. Now here's why. I don't know if it was because of my hard drives at that time that I just couldn't record in 1080p. I could not record in 1080p with DXTory. It became all kinds of laggy. And that is why I think they've added this with the benchmarking for your hard drive, that you can, so you know that you are above 100, then you can record in 1080p. I never got around to testing it in 720p because I'm really not interested in 720p. So I decided to buy Bandicam instead. And all these features, especially this kind of stuff with the audio, that if you install virtual audio cable, that you can set it up. There's tutorials on YouTube here on how to actually do that. I found a few of them and looked through them. There's actually some really cool videos out there on how to do this stuff. That is kind of the pluses to this program, that you can add an extra like audio track and then record another, whatever, if it's Ventrilo or something else like that, that you can choose to have that as a separate audio track, and then you can cut it out if you want to, or go in and do a noise reduction on it and stuff like that, so it sounds really crisp on your videos. Now that's kind of the pluses to this, and also the fact that you can use it for live streaming. I don't need to use it for live streaming because, well, I have a really powerful PC, so I don't really need to use this. And in general, what it does, it takes a strain off your GPU when you set it to. Actually, you can set it to both, so it actually records and you stream at the same time, which is kind of cool. But you can also set it to just direct show output and then use it for live streaming. And but what it does, in sense, it takes a strain off your CPU and puts it on your GPU instead. So it takes a little load off your CPU and uses your graphics card instead. I don't like that stuff though, because I don't want to put an extra strain on my graphics card, because normally the games that I play are really intense when it comes to graphics. So I don't want to put an extra strain on my graphics card. But it has some cool features. It has some really cool features, but like I said, I could not get it to work well with, and I tested all kinds of stuff with this in the and there's different codecs here as well, guys. There's different codecs here, and I've tried them all, and I still couldn't get it to work in 1080p. But I just got that drive here that you saw. I just got that like a month ago or something. So and that's really, really fast. So maybe it will work now in 1080p. I haven't tested it again, so it might actually be a really, really good program. But I highly suggest, if you are considering buying this, download the free trial, do a benchmark, make sure that you can actually, and do a test recording, make sure that you can record in 1080p if that's what you want to do. But because I couldn't get it to work back then when I tested it out, I decided not to get it and decided to go for Bandicam instead. Now that we've gone through all this kind of stuff, another plus is that you can actually choose how many processors you want to use for your recording software. I've tried this as well when I was testing it out, and I still, even though I went through all of these, I still couldn't get it to work with 1080p. But I'm fairly sure it has something to do with my hard drive, because there's a lot of people that use this software and it's really good. But Bandicam is just as good. They're equally good, because the quality at the end, from what I've seen, is the exact same. It uses the same codecs, sort of say. But yeah, really, really good software as well. But like I said, I decided to go for Bandicam instead. Now let me show you guys what actually happens. Let me shut this down like that. And then just some other window just popped up, and get this up instead. Now in here in Sony Vegas, I have a clip right here. It's actually a complete file for my Let's Play, because it doesn't cut up your files. Neither Bandicam or DXTory cuts up your files into chunks, okay? So when you record, it's just one big file. So this file here, I believe it's like 50 gigabytes or something like that for a Let's Play for a game called Blades of Time. Now look at what happens when I drag that in here, if it actually will work. There you go. See, this is what happens. Normally, if this would have been Fraps, you would have one video layer and one audio track. So if you had recorded your voice in there, it would have been really, really horrible, because it would have been mixed in, and the codecs that Fraps uses are really, really shitty. Now, you have the gameplay sound here, and you have your audio sound, your microphone down here. Now, why is that so important, you might ask? Well, here's why. What I normally do is I export, so I just mute these other tracks here, export the audio track out, so I go up and render it out as a WAV file, go into either you can use Audacity or Sound Booth or Audition, stuff like that, to do noise reduction and compression on your voice. Then delete this file and then drag the other one in instead, and then you've done noise reduction on it. Another reason why this is very important is, especially when you're making Let's Plays or other just live commentary stuff, that if your gameplay sound is too loud, you can turn it down. And that way, or turn your voice up for that matter. So you can do either one of those, and then balance out the audio so people can hear you loud and clear in your videos, which is really, really awesome. So that is why I like Bandicam so much. I've been using Bandicam for the last 8 months on all of my videos. I have not been using Fraps for the last 8 months. I have not been using it because I like this program so much. But this is obviously gonna lead up to a Bandicam and Sony Vegas 1080p guide on how I do it and how I set my Bandicam up completely, with an explanation of how and why I set these things up the way I did. And yeah, it's like I said, Bandicam, really good software. DXTory, really good software. The reason I wanted to make this video is to make you guys aware that there are other really good capturing softwares out there that are really, really good. Really good. Because Bandicam does the job. It really does the job. I can play my games in 60 frames per second and still record in 30. And you can do the same with DXTory. I mean, you can't really argue against that. And then the fact that you can do these kind of things with get a separate audio track for your microphone, and that the codec is just a standard waveform, therefore it will not sound crappy like it will do if you record your microphone in Fraps. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. I just wanted to inform you guys. It's not an actual tutorial, but I wanted to inform you guys that there are other capturing softwares out there. That's what I wanted to say, and that there are some good ones as well. Now, the best ones that I've come across is Bandicam and DXTory. I've tried out some. There's something called WeGame or something like that. That's really horrible. Don't touch that. Avoid it like the plague. And the same thing with PlayClaw. Stay away from that program. It is complete and utter bullshit. It's really not that good. So yeah, stick with Bandicam, Fraps, or DXTory, right? And if you do decide that you want to try out DXTory, make sure that you get the free trial first, and then benchmark your hard drives. And if you still are that you just want to get DXTory regardless, then just be prepared to make a small investment in getting a new hard drive that will record at the speed that is required from DXTory, right? But that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to show you the alternatives to Fraps. If you like the video, please thumbs it up and share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever people might want to watch these kind of things. And take care, have fun, see you all in the next one.